Welcome back. Now, squabbles within the GNU reared their head this week as Treasury postponed the national budget. Now, what does this mean for sentiment? Joining me for further analysis is the CEO of Business Leadership South Africa, Busisiwe Mavuso. Busi, thanks so much for your time today. Now, there have been different views on the postponement of the budget. Some saying it doesn't send the right message. Others saying this is how a democracy works. What's your take?
It's definitely both. So it's very unfortunate. It is hugely embarrassing. And surely the spectacle could have been avoided. And our disappointment as the business community is that this could have been resolved. You know, what happened on Wednesday stems from the government's inability and failure to have resolved their differences in time. It stems from their inability and failure to ensure that the institutional processes and systems function as they should. This is negative for business sentiment, it is negative for markets, and it is negative for the broader investor community. You know, we have taken so much time as a country over the past 4 years trying to restore confidence in a number of ways, from embarking on the massive structural reform agenda, to improving our tax collections, to the restoration of SARS, to holding the line on monetary policy, to the fiscal consolidation path that we have stayed on, to prioritizing debt reduction and being prudent on our spending. So we cannot now undermine the fragile trust that global investors have regained in us. So what we experienced on Wednesday was shocking for investors. It was shocking for investors both domestically and abroad, and restoring confidence from now on is going to have to be our first priority. And on the positive side, what we should not miss from all of this is that this shows that the parties of the government of national unity are able to stand their ground. This shows that they are not going to rubber stamp decisions and positions that they do not believe in, that what we have in South Africa right now is not business as usual, you know, but as they do what they do, they should ensure and they should be able to demonstrate when they come back on the 12th of March that this is going to lead to an improved outcome. And that is what we're actually looking forward to for the 12th of March. We want a budget that is going to ensure that we deliver a 3% economic growth that President Cyril Ramaphosa promised us on the State of the Nation address.
And what's really interesting, you mentioned, you know, we have to restore confidence, and all this taking place while we are preparing for the G20. We have, you know, foreign ministers in the country. Next week, we have finance ministers in the country. So all eyes really are on us. I want to get to the heart of the squabbles that we saw on Wednesday, which was the 2 percentage point hike in VAT. Now, I'm sure we can I guess we can all come to an understanding that that will probably not go through. But with that being said, how do we then fill those plugs? You know, because we do need the money. We do need the money for those plans that we have. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced many plans at SONA. We need the money for reforms at Transnet as well. And we can't look at borrowing, right?
Borrowing is not an option. You know, we can't borrow ourselves out of this crisis. I think at the moment, the debt to GDP ratio is sitting at about 76%. It is projected to go up to about 78% next year. So borrowing is not a sustainable funding option, because today's borrowing is going to be tomorrow's, you know, tax hikes. So I think that is what we actually need to understand. You know, for me, it would be interesting, and I think it would be very symbolic, and I think it would send a very positive signals if government were to be seen to embark on an exercise that is going to trim the fat within government. You know, if they can ensure that their own salary increases are kept within, you know, cost of living adjustment or inflationary adjusted salary increases. If they were to commit that they are not going to get new cars next year, if they can commit that they can fly economy class for just as a signaling exercise before they say to an average South African, you're going to have to pay 2 percentage points more, you know, for your average food basket, let them try and tighten their own belt, as it were. You know, if they can say, our rental houses in Cape Town and in Pretoria, we are going to stop paying. I don't even know what that rental amount is at the moment. And the last time I checked, it was about 600 rand. I mean, who rents a house in Cape Town for 600 rand? If they were to say, we are going to start paying market-related rental, you know, for the premium properties that we actually stay in. You know, all of those things, you know, and the wastage that is actually happening in government, the inefficiencies that are there, you know, and I think it would really go a long way, because really, if you are saying 2%, 2% on who? You're sitting with 43% unemployment in terms of the expanded definition. You have more people that are unemployed than those that are employed in all the provinces except Gauteng and the Western Cape.
Yeah.
People are joining the unemployment queues every day. So who are you taxing? You know, in this unequal society, in this country where we've got more than 50%, you know, poverty levels, it really doesn't make sense, you know, to say you're just going to continue, you know, increasing taxes while you are not demonstrating, you know, interventions that are ensuring that you're actually trimming your own expenditure as government.
So trimming the fat, cutting down that expenditure line. Busi, unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us and just sharing your insights. That was Busisiwe Mavuso from Business Leadership South Africa.